Now let's work on finishing the front part as well as these curved parts. So we're going to add in this part and this curved part. So we're going to press 1 to go to front view, press tab and Z for edit mode and wireframe. We're going to select this vertex, and we can see this one needs to continue down here. But actually, if you look at the references, this part of the car actually looks separate from this curved part of the car. They actually look like they are physically separated. Like even in this picture, you can see that this part kind of curves up underneath the front of the car right here. So they're actually physically separate, I believe. Whoops. So we're going to press E to extrude and bring this all the way over here. And to make sure that we have a line right here to connect this to, we're going to select these two vertices and we're going to edge slide. I have my edge slide set to Q. If you don't, go to Mesh, Edges, and Edge Slide. You're going to right click. You're going to do the same as we did before. It'll say Add Shortcut for you. Just go to Add Shortcut, hover over this, press Q, and there you go. So we're going to press Q to edge slide these, bring them over. I believe I only did these two vertices. Yep. And then we're going to do Control R and add in a vertex here, so just left click, and then we're going to select this vertex again. This is the one that connects to this one right here, so if you move it to make sure it's the correct vertex and then right click to reset its position, that's the one that we want. And actually we can hide these, so we can select these, select one, do circle selection, and then get the rest of them and press H to hide them so that we don't get confused, and just go back to front view by pressing 1. So this has to continue downward, so we're going to press E to extrude and bring this downward like this, and then E to extrude, right click to cancel, and bring it to the center, because this part of the car ends before the bottom of the car, so this needs to end about halfway. This is the piece that we're making right here. So now what we want to do is select this one and then select this one, press F to make an edge in this case, then do Control R and left click to add a vertex here, and we're going to start filling this in. So we're just going to select these four here, press F to make a face, select these four, press F, select these four, press F. We're going to end up with a triangle here, but that's okay, so select these three and press F. It still looks fine, and considering this is a low poly model, triangles are usually more acceptable, and I don't mind triangles anyway, so we're going to leave this as a triangle. Now we're going to go to side view by pressing 3, and we can see we have to move some of these, so we're going to select these two, bring them forward, and we're actually going to bring these two forward as well, and then bring these two forward, and bring this one forward, and continue moving these. Whoops, there's two there, so I'm going to move those two together, and something like this, I guess, would be okay. Just check to make sure things look good, and they do. The only thing that looks a little strange is I think this one needs to be back further, like this. So that looks decent for now, I suppose. Looks like everything's basically in the correct position. So another thing that's kind of subtle, but it's noticeable, is that we have sort of this beveled edge right here. So to make that, yeah, this is the right one. Okay. So to make that, what we're going to do is first of all we're going to press Alt H to unhide everything because we want to see where this is. And we want to select this vertex and be careful to select the other one that's right here that's connected to it. And then go to front view by pressing 1 and just well, actually first what we should do is we should make this other part right here so that we have a better reference for where these parts should be. So we're going to start by extruding this bottom. We're going to make this bottom part. You can see how it like goes in quite a bit until it reaches the mesh. So we're going to select this vertex and then select the rest of them that are along this line all the way up to here. So you want all these. And we're going to press E to extrude, right click to cancel, and just drag them back. We're going to press S, Y, and 0 to make them even on the Y axis just for now. We're going to move things around in a minute, but we're just going to do that for now. Looking for, okay, this is the one I wanted. So we can see on this side, which is the outside of the car, this part is actually, like the indent is not very big. Is only a small indent here on the side. So what we want to do is bring these vertices in so that there's only a small indent here. This isn't supposed to be indented very far. Let's bring this one in as well. Something like this is fairly accurate. Then for this side, it comes more or less to a point, not really a point, but I mean it's skinnier here than it is down here. So we just want to make sure that that is how we make it. So we want this top part to be close, fairly close, something like this. We want this part to be maybe about here or so. And also you can see that it kind of moves in this direction. Like it's not straight back, it's actually back and over some. So like right now we just have it straight back. We want to pull these over some. We want to pull this one over some to give it this sort of shape. You can move these over a little more if you think you need to give it a shape like that. And if you want, you could do similar right here. You could move that over a little. And then you'll have something nice like this. And you could even move that one over slightly as well if you want. So that looks fairly good. That's the inner part of that area. But then there's this outer part, which is also like, you can imagine this gets extruded along the bottom as well. We have this outer part right here. And it would go along the bottom, you just can't see it. This would be like the start of the bottom of the car. But you can kind of see that it goes along the bottom of the car right here as well. So we want to make this part. So we're going to hold Alt and right click on this bottom edge. We want all the bottom edges, even the ones over here, because this is, like I said, the bottom of the car. This is the start of the bottom of the car. So we're going to press E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring them back on the Y axis. Don't worry about these vertices, we'll adjust them later. So we want these three here, and we want to bring these over, because if you look at the reference, like these need to be over more to give it this shape. But you don't want this top one over really all that much. We may want to bring this down a little. but we do want these two to be quite far over to give it that shape that it has. So if we go to front view, we should see that it has more of a shape like this, but it's actually still angled some in the real thing, so we need to make sure it's still angled some. Like this maybe needs to be over like that a bit more. Something like that looks pretty good. But it still looks a bit incorrect, like you can see this here. And the reason it looks incorrect is because actually this part goes in pretty far. So we need to pull in this part of the car right here. We need to pull this in to make it look more like the reference that we have. I'm just going to pull this one vertex a bit back and snap it to that top one just to make sure they're even. So it looks a little more correct. And I think that's most of what I wanted to do for that. Everything looks pretty good. So for this this top part, like I was talking about, how there's that beveled edge on the top as well. It's kind of beveled. We can simulate that by and actually I think it's kind of beveled on the bottom too. Maybe we should add that in, I'm not sure, but for now I think we're gonna select these, and actually first we're gonna want to take this vertex, I think is this one, yeah, this one, the one that's connected to these edges, and we want to move this over some, and we want to move this one over some as well, because we're going to be making a little bit of an extra beveled edge here. Bring this up a little. And we're going to select this one that's already selected, hold shift and get the rest of these. So you have these selected, and press F. And then we're going to press I to inset, and we're just going to make a small inset like this, and then left click to confirm. Go to face selection, and we're going to select these three faces. So you want to leave the one that's on top and the side here, you want to leave those alone, and delete these faces. So press delete and choose faces. So that gives us this little look here. We're just going to press smooth shading to smooth that out because it wasn't smooth. And I'm going to bring this down to snap to this, and I'm going to bring this over to hide it behind this part of the car. Something like that. So you see we get this little bevel, but we can actually just hold Alt and right click here to get the innermost edges, and then press E to extrude, right click to cancel, and pull them back a little, and this will help just make it look a little better. So if we bring this back maybe a little more to kind of match up with this other edge here, that'll give it this nice shape, and it'll give us a good area to put that mesh in here. So it gives it just a nicer look when you're looking from like this angle, stuff like that. And if you wanted to, you could add a nice little bevel to this bottom part too. Just press E to extrude here, right click to cancel, bring these down a little, and maybe in a little. And then I think this part of the car probably goes in a bit further. So if we press E to extrude again, right click to cancel, and bring this in like that, maybe a bit further, that's probably more closer to how it would be. So I like the results right now, except this part of the car probably needs to be moved up some, just to make sure that it's hiding, maybe in a little. Just to make sure that it looks like it's actually like not really attached, but very close to being attached. I guess that's gonna be fine. Like that. That looks decent, I guess. Something like this. Looks good. So we're going to go ahead and do File and Save.